Well, hello everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from Across the Shotgun. You're very welcome back to my Three for Thursday series. Been a bit absent. I'd also said, and I'd just like to say it again, if anybody else would like to take the Thursday series on and make it a new series of your liking, I'm more than happy to step down. I've done it for quite a while now. I enjoy it. You seem to enjoy it because you watch the videos. But if anybody else wants to go, I don't want to hog it. Please feel free to just hit me up on the DM and say I'd love to take it over, and I will hand it over to you, and I will enjoy joining in on your whatever your Thursday series would be. Anyway, let's get on to it. Locking knives. Three locking knives in front of you. Three of my favourite locking knives. Although, I was sitting counting up there as before I'd done the video, I was just checking. I have about 12 locking knives. Lockbacks, I should say. Lockbacks. I love them. I absolutely love them. They're such a nice, heavy duty. Well, they're small, but they're good for heavy duty work because you've got that security. A lot of people are insecure with traditional knives that don't lock. I'm not, but I also like the fact that this is a type of knife with a lockback that I enjoy using just as a knife. It's slow. It's not fast. It's not flicky out. It's not. That's my type of a knife. But I picked these three because I'm going to do, over this weekend, I'm going to do a video on all my locking knives, all my relevant locking knives, which is about 20 to 25 locking knives, which is, as you know, if you've followed me, at one stage I had hundreds. Um, and I don't anymore. And I'm quite happy not to have that bulk around me anymore. But sort of, I, I was going through them, and I'm starting to work on a rule of three. Now that seems, let me just explain that. I have about 12 locking knives, so how can you work on a rule of three? Well, they're types, three types. I try not to have, and I'm really, really trying hard not to buy the same brand more than once. Now there's a couple, I think I've maybe two that are the same brand, but I'm trying to just spread my wings a bit, selling off ones that I've got multiples of and getting another brand to add to the collection. For me, that's nice because it gives me a wider range of things to do videos on. And you don't only have to do a video on one knife and then put it away and never do it again. That's too expensive. Yes, if that's the way you want to do it, we're all entitled to do. But this may be just a little bit of advice for somebody who's been doing it a while. One knife can be videoed so many different ways, in different videos, in multiple videos, in just whatever. Please don't buy one knife, stick it away, and never do another video on it. That's just too expensive. This is why I love the Three for Thursday. You can get three knives that you mightn't show, you mightn't see that often, although they're all users and I use them often. But I mightn't do videos about them often, but I'll do multiple videos of them in my time. And I picked these three because they're all different. They're just completely different. They're different companies, they're different handle materials. The backlocks are in different places, just to let you see what sort of knives you can get. And this is the small, well, sort of small medium, I would call them. And I've just got this one recently. And Tobias has been going on about this little dragonfly for years. I've had man bugs and ladybugs, and I enjoyed them. They were great little fifth pocket droppers, but this is just a little bit bigger. This is the dragonfly, VG10, great steel, mid back lock. You can use one hand to close it and open it, which is great. It's really handy, but you can't do it with all of them. And that doesn't bother me either, I'll have to say. I'm never in that much of a rush to get my knife out. But this is in their plastic, GRN or whatever, GFN. And it has that lovely sort of beak, or people call it all sorts of different names. It's sort of bird head look to it. But, it's odd looking. But let me tell you, this design-wise is just Topfield. And it's not a new knife, but it is Topfield. This tiny little knife, you can get a full 4-finger grip on. I have a large hand, and I can get a 4-finger grip on this, which makes this especially with a VG10. Now it's thin, it's not something you're going to use to pry, but if you want to go through something or cut something, you can work with wood with this, and it's just fantastic. It's such a great utility knife for such a small package. It can do much more than what you think. So the Dragonfly is the first one with that mid backlock. Smallish blade. I don't know whether you want to know the sizes of the blades. Let's just do that. I suppose we can do that. This little blade is, and I'm going to do the cutting edge, is 2 inches. Now, 2 inches will do most of his days. It'll cover anything we want to do in a day's work, from cutting up boxes to anything. That's quite able to do that without a sweat. The second knife. Now, this is a beautiful knife. Now, that's plastic. This is bone, jigged bone. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the colours in that reddy, browny, sort of autumny colour with a very dark centre. It's beautiful. This is an Almar knife. Now, Almar was made in Japan, or was from Japan, and made all his knives there. Very, very high-end maker of knives. His fit and finish was outstanding. He never used much more than 8CR13 as a blade steel, but his knives were just immaculate. And like most of us traditional people know, 8CR13 is a fantastic blade steel for a penknife. Do you know what I mean? It'll last for donkeys. But this now is it's a thumb stud opening. It is small. I find it quite difficult to do, but I can do it. And look at that lovely blade on that. Isn't that just stunning? Look at that. You'll see the Almar. It's very distinctive. The Almar crest there. And what has he got? These are now made in China. But they're made to a very high standard in China. Like, look at that back spring. It is beautifully hafted. The bone is hafted to the bolsters beautifully. The backlock sits perfectly in there. So yeah, it's a China-made knife. And you pay a few, I think this is about £60. I'm not sure, but I think it's about that. And it's a small knife. And again, let me get the wee ruler out. We'll see what length the cutting edge is. And it is about 2¼ yeah, it's about 2¼ cutting edge. Yeah, perfect. Look at that thin little, it's such a thin stock. Beautiful slices, pokey. If you've got pokey jobs, this is the knife for you. And it's so small, and it's higher than midlock. This is going up towards the front, which makes this very easy to disengage. It's got a nice ricasso on it, so it's landing on your it's not hitting down with blade. The ricasso is landing on your finger. But I just think, look at that. It disappears in your hand. Nobody would even see it's there. Take it out, do your job, and put it away. But if you do bring it out, because of that pointy blade, and look, people get frightened of small knives too, but you bring it out and just let them see what you've got, and they can see it's small. They can see how pretty it is. And most people just say, oh, isn't that lovely looking? That's what you want. But this is an absolutely stunning, locks up perfect. And I know it's not the Japanese Almar, but honestly, the fit and finish is very hard to distinguish between. I have to say, it's really good. Really, really good. Not that I've had any Almars, but as a pen knife or a pocket knife, this is fantastically made. And last of my three today is this one, the Old Timer. And this is the 50TH, with the H stands for Heritage Series. And it is Heritage in it. Yeah, it's Heritage, sorry. So these are made in D2. So this is probably the best lasting steel that we've got here. I think D2 is usually a bit longer lasting than VG10 if it's heat treated well. This seems to be heat treated well from Old Timer. This is Shred Old Timer. It's got a fantastic edge on it. This is a bit bigger than the other two, and the blade length, the cutting edge on this one is a good 2½ inches. So that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. That will do everything. And this is getting towards the back lock. So you had one here, and one here. And you can get one that's further back as well. So there's all sorts of different lockbacks. This again, if I just do this, no, it's not going to do it for me now. I don't want it to. but I could still use my finger and break it and close it one hand if I wanted to. To be honest, I don't. I just usually open it like that and I close it like that. And that's all I do with my knife. I don't need any more than that. And this is in wood. It's that compressed wood with basically resin. It looks lovely. It's lovely feather detail in it there. The old timer, this is the new old timer shield now they're putting back on it again. I think this was the original shield, but it's lovely. Nickel silver bolsters, nice pin work, beautifully hafted. Look at that. The fit and finish again, absolutely. I think this is around £50. So don't quote me, but it's roughly around that. I can't remember when I bought it. But this is more of a full size knife. And you can get right up and you can do whatever you want with this. And I say the D2 on sharpening it seems to be fairly well heat treated. Gorgeous knife. Gorgeous knife. And the rule of three is like, I like to have different brands. I like to have different handle materials. But out of all the 12 I've got, there's a lot of other similarities and differences in them that they're good enough to stay in my collection. Because I could pick another 3 knives and talk about them in a completely different way in their makeup and whatever. And I'll maybe do that, you know, in future 3 for Thursdays. But I think there are 3 options. So you've got that old timer, you've got the Almar, which is now made in China, which makes them an awful lot cheaper. An awful lot cheaper than the originals. Are they going to be as good as the originals? Probably not. But they're absolutely fantastic. That tells you how good the original was. Or were. The Topfield Dragonfly, wish I'd have got one years ago. I've been ill recently and I still in my pajamas have a knife. This has lived in my, I took the clip off it. I don't like the clip on it. I'm not a great wire clip person. But I took the clip off it and I just drop it in my pajamas. And it's been great having it there. Because you go into the kitchen, you need to open something. I love having a wee knife on me. Simple as that. I always like having a wee knife on me. So there's 3 for, maybe you haven't seen these 3 or you're interested in getting some lockbacks. These are 3 that I would highly recommend. Highly recommend. They're lovely knives. All the ones that I've seen on YouTube all seem to be in pretty good nick. They seem to come pretty well made from their factories. And that's a big thing for me is, oh, I'm trying to get my wee, find this wee, it's like an EDC ruler. And it's so handy just to have. Love it. So, I can digress at any time during the video. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these 3. And if you haven't seen them, it'll give you an option to buy one and try them out. This probably being the cheapest. Then this one. And then the Spyderco. Now the old timer, you can get this is called the Bruin. And you can get this in 428C, which is absolutely fine, by the way. It'll do you all your day. But it's half the price of that. So if you're happy and you're a sharpener, 428C is absolutely fine. I just fancy trying the D2 just to see what it was like for my own interest, because I've lots of old timers in there in the 420. So I highly recommend all 3 of these. They're lovely little knives in different ways. So I'll see you next week for 3 for Thursday. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea. Take care, folks. Bye-bye now.